Hey everybody, it's vanburman here. Welcome back to another Steam Deck video. We're going to be looking at the Elder Scrolls Online, which I actually hadn't checked up before. Luckily, it's on a free weekend this weekend, so you can dive in and play it straight away off the bat. So I did use ProtonDB's suggestions for launch options, which are on the screen right now if you want to add them, but obviously, like I say, you can get it from ProtonDB. Some people on there did also mention using Proton in experimental mode, but I didn't have to actually change the compatibility, although that may have helped. So in this video, it's a bit of a mixed bag. I did have some issues where the game, or one of them where the game crashed the Steam Deck, unfortunately, and booted me sort of back to the main menu where it sort of verifies the installation. But I'm just going to talk to you basically through the issues that you will likely come across, how to resolve them. But I do have good news, really, in the end, and that is that it does work perfectly fine. I should say, perfectly fine in a way. I should say as well that this video has been heavily requested by Pineapple. Yeah, big shout out to you for being persistent in asking for this. I did say I would do it when Bethesda do the switch over from their launcher to the Steam store. Unfortunately, that's not happening until the end of the month, but luckily this came up and yeah, helped out. So the launch options, basically, from what I gather, from what I read on ProtonDB, tells the game that it's got this area to install the updates for. So as you can see, this one was the 20 gigabyte version of updates alongside the 93 gig download through Steam as well. So yeah, just worth bearing in mind, it is a fairly hefty install. Wherever you install it, you will need extra space as well. When you hit the black screen for the initial boot up, I basically mashed the buttons on the controller. I think you may have to press enter on a keyboard if you want to hook that up to get past that, and then it has all the flashing effects and whatnot. It will then boot you back out the game, which is what's going on now. Then if you go back in, it carries on with the extra part of the installation, I believe, and then from there you can get into the main menu. Now, one of the things that I have noticed is that it does ask you for your location seemingly every time you boot it up. I assumed it was just the first time, and because I uninstalled and reinstalled the game for this video, that it wouldn't ask me when after it crashed and I went to play it for the second time. Basically, there is a decent control setting on the community setup which you can use, but which is fine to get you started. It allows you to use the user Steam Deck, but I had an issue where it sort of got corrupted and I couldn't move the camera. So the thing that you also need to do is go into the options menu and then select the controller settings, so turn them to on, and then everything seems to work fine. It puts it in like a controller mode, which actually works a heck of a lot better. I mean, that's probably universal, not just for the Steam Deck. That's probably universal on actual PC as well, if you want to use a controller. So that's just worth bearing in mind, and that actually helps out quite a lot in terms of allowing it to feel like a proper game, I suppose. I've never been really much of a fan of the Elder Scrolls Online personally. I got it when it first came out, and yeah, it just didn't. It feels very like weightless, and just unimpressive, particularly compared to Skyrim, in my opinion. But I know a lot of people do like it and have found value and enjoy it a lot. But I sort of feel as though I'm a bit like out of touch or out of feel with MMOs in general, anyway. So it's just one of those, I think. But you can play this on high. It runs at pretty much 60 FPS. You might have to do a bit of tweaking, especially if you're on later levels with big bosses and whatnot. Then that might be a case for you to maybe lower it down to medium if you want to guarantee you're going to get 60 FPS. And I don't think I have anything else really to say. Once you get it up and running, it seems to work fine, although getting to that point is a little bit tedious, a lot more so than a lot of the other games that I've looked at, I would suggest, that just sort of work for the most part. But it's probably a fine experience. I'm not really tried it out in terms of all aspects, instead of like sending people messages, how you negotiate friend invites, trading, that sort of thing. Hopefully it's all been pretty well streamlined with the addition of the controller mode. But it is worth bearing in mind that it's not the greatest or most stable experience. Like once you start having to dip into like the Steam menu, for example, multiple times, that can crash the game, or has done for me at least in the process of recording this video. So that's definitely worth bearing in mind. And if you press the triple dot button, which obviously brings up the battery stuff, it doesn't appear on the screen, or at least it didn't appear from my capture card anyway. I'm not sure if it does on the actual game screen, but they should be the same because it should mirror it. So yeah, in terms of if you want to dynamically turn on and off or adjust like battery settings in that way, it's not really going to be possible. You might have to come out of the game and do that, which is less than ideal for certain. But you know, the fact that it works and that you can actually play it, I think it's probably understandable that there are some trade-offs. But yeah, I don't know. It's just worth bearing in mind. I wouldn't buy this game, especially for the deck. I think if you've already got it and you want to play it, you know, there's workarounds that make it possible. So that's really nice. Like the more of these that you can get working, the better. I'm all for it, even if it's not something that I particularly want to play. But yeah, that's just worth bearing in mind. So I don't think there's too much else to say. I had to start a new character and everything from my first one, so I've not got any sort of later game stuff or anything like that. So it needs full testing, but at least in my initial test, the same way I do with most of the other games, this is sort of where we're at. So yeah, just worth bearing in mind. It's a bit finicky. For some stuff I just used a mouse. I've got a mouse plugged into my dock. Makes things a lot easier, even though it can be done on the Steam Deck itself. Just worth bearing in mind on that one. But yeah, I think that's about it. I've got a few minutes of gameplay footage you can have a look at. It's probably not going to be all that representative, especially of later on areas, because I'm right near the start of the game. But yep, finally, just want to thank Pineapple there. Like I say, persistence in asking for it. I think on pretty much every live stream. I did say I would do it, and luckily the free weekend has given me the ability to do that ahead of time, because I was a bit concerned that I may not be able to do it before I go away at the start of May, because then I probably wouldn't actually get a chance to do it at all. Last thing I should mention is the load times are pretty long, but I don't know if that's the same on desktop as well. But I hope you found this useful. Do let me know what you think. Any comments, queries, questions. If I can answer them, I will do. But I will be uninstalling this by the time this video goes back up because of how much space it takes. I had to install it on the internal memory because I had too much installed on the SD card. I'm currently preparing for another untested video. Probably one of the last ones, actually, coincidentally. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you all very soon. Bye for now.
All right. Do you see that vault to the south? The sky shard is there. There it is! The Sky Shard! Get out of the way now! Counter and kill! Move! Now! Dodge quickly! To the side! Roll to the side! Dodge quickly! To the side! What? Did you just absorb the energy of that shard? Incredible. Not quite what I intended, but we can work with this. Let's head back to the gate.